Hey guys, it's Michael. I have a quick update for you on the second stimulus check and second stimulus package. We have very big news to go over from Larry Kudlow, so in today's video, we're first going to go over how White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow said earlier today on Monday that talks for a second stimulus relief bill have certainly started to slow down, but they have not ended yet. He said how Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi are meeting today to hopefully finalize an agreement. After that, we're going to go over how Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin told CNBC that a deal would be hard to get done before the election, and at this point it's probably very unlikely, but they're going to keep trying to get a bill passed even if it passes the election. And finally, at the end of the video, we're going to go over how the United States and much of Europe have barreled into the new week, scrambling to confront new surges of the virus in record number of cases, and how this will have dramatic effects on another stimulus package being passed and just on the state of the economy as well. We're going to go over all of this and more, but before we get started, it would really mean a lot if you could like the video down below and subscribe to my channel. It's completely free to do so, and it currently says about 50% of you watching are not subscribed. So if you'd like to stay up to date on the second stimulus check, second stimulus package, as well as other news updates, well then please be sure to subscribe. So, White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow said earlier today on Monday that talks for a second stimulus package have certainly started to slow down, though Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will meet today to hopefully finalize a second stimulus agreement. Kudlow said on CNBC this morning that talks have certainly slowed down, but they have not ended yet. He goes on to say that we are close, but there are still important policy issues that separate us, and our team believes that there has to be more compromises on the House side for us to get there, and more compromises from the Democrats. He goes on to say that the committee chairmen on both sides, both Republicans and Democrats, have been meeting and have met all over this past weekend to discuss the most prominent issues of the second stimulus bill. And Kudlow explained that additional aid is needed with regard to enhanced unemployment benefits, money for the payment protection program, and aid to schools and airlines. One important thing to point out, though, is that he did leave out direct stimulus checks. In his interview, he didn't say anything about direct stimulus checks, and this is unusual because we know that both sides already agree on this, and this would be one of the main aspects they would include in the bill, so he probably just left it out as a mistake, or he didn't think it was important to mention it, but it's just important to keep an eye out that. Ultimately, though, he said there are specific targeted areas and that we don't need a gigantic ideological political bill to pass. He said all we need is some targeted assistance, and that would go a long way and be great help to millions of Americans. Next up is the Senate is expected to confirm Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett today on Monday. And after that, the House is not scheduled to be back in session until after the election. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin came out and told CNBC that a deal would be very hard to get done before the election. He said, we're going to keep trying, but don't want to say that it's not likely, but there are significant differences, and the time is really too short to get a bill passed before the election. In addition to Mnuchin, Larry Kudlow also came out today and said that the goalposts have moved, echoing comments by both Nancy Pelosi and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, who came out yesterday on Sunday, and in separate interviews, they each accused each other of moving the goalposts in negotiations. Essentially what this means is Kudlow told reporters Monday that differences between the two sides have narrowed, but the more it narrows, the more they come to an agreement on certain aspects, the more conditions come up on the other side, and the more they disagree on things as well. So he says they come to an agreement, another thing pops up, they disagree on that, and that just keeps happening, and that is why it has taken so long. And finally, the US and much of Europe barreled into this new week, scrambling to try to confront the new surges in cases that threaten to overwhelm hospitals with just 8 days before the US presidential election. Stocks and oil prices dropped significantly this morning on Monday in response to a continued stalemate in the US over an additional stimulus package and new restrictions to halt a third surge in cases. The U.S. hit a record number of daily cases on Friday with over 80,000 cases, and the death toll surpassed 225,000 as well. More than 41,000 people are currently hospitalized with the virus in the U.S., which is a 40% increase in the past month alone. And although daily deaths have not risen so sharply, they are inching upward, and at least 5 members of the White House administration have tested positive for the virus recently. So all of this will have dramatic effects on the second stimulus package, because if things get worse, well, then Republicans are going to be more willing to spend more on a second stimulus bill, and lawmakers will have to pass more money with dramatic measures in it, especially if things get worse and places have to shut down again. So anyways, that's what's going on with the second stimulus check and second stimulus package. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to get your 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600 when you download the Webull investing app using the link down below. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.